What's up? Thanks for coming back through. Appreciate you. From time to time, I've made mention on the channel that I'm a designer. That is my main profession. I am not a content producer, a content creator, although that would be kind of cool to become that. But right now, my main gig is doing design of all types. I'm mainly a brand designer, logos, identities, brand strategy, creative consultant. But occasionally my design work crosses over into my footwear passion. I've been able to, over the course of my career, have some touches on some pretty legendary shoes, and I've designed shoes of my own. I have done some color design on some shoes recently when I was in New York at my New York office. I had shown a little bit of the work that I had done with a custom limited edition OSD, obsessive sneaker disorder, Fila cage that did not get released, but we went through the entire sample process and it was absolutely beautiful. Today, I was challenged by my guy Gary over at Midwest Fashion Journal, what's up G, to go back into my stacks and pull out some of the shoes that I've had a chance to have some touch points on. Now, many times it's very modest, so I don't even mention it. But the truth is, I did work with these people to be able to do some cool stuff on some shoes. So, today, we are going to be talking about the legendary Nice Kicks New Balance 1500. Now, there are some really dope shoes that New Balance has produced over the years that have become legendary, like the Kennedy 999s. You've got some from, I believe, Burn Rubber. You've got some New Balances that I recently picked up last year. The Stone Island stuff has been really good this year. But some of those classic silhouettes, 1500, 999, 998, 574s, those are always legendary. This shoe right here has ascended to legendary status because of what it represented. Now, the 1500 silhouette is a classic. New Balance did used to be a high-end running shoe company before they took a slight dip into fashion and stayed there for a bit. And now they're re-emerging with a lot of their super shoes, their super critical foams and all of that. Nice Kicks was a website started back in the day by Matt Halfhill to cover Nice Kicks. It was probably one of the cooler monikers that were out there. They had their speech bubble, Nice Kicks. And we're talking at this point, maybe 15 years ago. Sneaker culture was pretty tight-knit as it was starting to grow. Kadoma, Brian at H-Town Sneaker Summit, Matt Halfhill at Nice Kicks, myself, Sean Paper Chaser Williams, D Wells of OSD. We all kind of came up in the same circles in the culture, and a lot of people were doing some really interesting things. I actually still share an office in New York City with the OSD crew. Shouts out to Paper Chaser, what's up? This shoe, because of the culture, a lot of people knew that I was a designer. So I had already done a little bit of work on some laces and some other things. And so my name kind of got tossed around in those circles. And first, let's talk about the shoe itself. Because my part in it was admittedly tiny. The shoe itself was legendary. Super, super butter suedes. All different types of suede, different colors of suede. You've got some that were really, really soft touch. Some that were a little bit more sturdy. Mesh netting in there. Hits of 3M on the toe. And the whole tongue is 3M. So that's beautiful. You can see I've swapped my laces out for a really beautiful raw silk lotus lace to match the red. So that's a customization on my part. Sock liner, nice padding. You'd have to touch this shoe to understand exactly how butter it is. It's absolutely beautiful. All different shades of gray. That to me was one of the dopest aspects of the shoe, is that tonally, it's all one color mostly. Hits of red, sure, because red is Nice Kicks color. The red, the gray, the white. But the shoe is mostly gray suede. And all those different suedes come together to make an absolutely brilliant shoe. So shouts out to Matt and the crew who worked on this. So about 3/4 of the way through the process, there was one aspect of the shoe that was missing. And Matt had reached out and said, you know, did I have any ideas? What could we do for a sock liner? And so he had an idea based off of a wood grain lace that I had done for another brand, probably the previous year. He had seen those laces that I had done and was like, we should do a wood grain pattern on the sock liner. Like, okay, you know, yeah, we could probably pull off a wood grain pattern. Did we want it to be picture? Did we want it to be vector, like artwork? And because the shoe was so subtle and gray, he decided that we wanted to do a simple vector pattern on the sock liner that was a gray sock liner, red hits of the Nice Kicks logo. But we wanted it to, instead of going with the grain of the shoe or with the grain of the foot pad, we wanted it to cut across the grain. That was part of the story. So we did a cross grain wood pattern and then had the Nice Kicks logos put on the bottom or put on the heel. And so when placed inside the shoe as part of the entire view, it's dope. This one has the red lace in it still. I wanted to show what the red laces look like. But that gray sock liner cutting across the grain with the Nice Kicks exposed on the heel, Nice Kicks by New Balance, was super, super dope. And so it's just a very, very subtle tweak that we had to add to the overall look of the shoe, look and feel of the shoe. Ortholite sock liner, really nice molded hits on it, very comfortable. But yeah, little did anyone know, because I really didn't shout about it. It really wasn't a major part of the design, so I just kind of kept quiet about it. But my guy was like, no, you should tell people that you were involved in it. And so shouts out to Matt Halfhill and Nice Kicks for reaching out all those years ago. It's been a legendary part of my collection and a memorable part of my career to have been able to even have anything to do with this shoe. And so this pair rarely gets worn because this is the pair that Matt sent me after the project was done. And I'm super proud of it. Super proud to have been involved in any way. And yeah, the New Balance Nice Kicks 1500, designed by Nice Kicks with a little sock liner help from yours truly. All right, thanks for coming through. We'll talk again soon. Peace.